Welcome to Off the Stage Podcast.
And welcome to Off the Stage Podcast. It's the show where we take musicians off the stage and into the pub to talk about the ins and outs of the music world. We're at the fantastic Dubliner. I'm James Berry. This is Conor Michael, and today we are joined once again by the fantastic Miss India Arkin.
There's your applause.
That's an applause, yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Obviously, it's a different scene. We do just quickly need a shout out. Well done to the Dubliner for being TikTok's most followed Irish bar in the world. So well done, guys.
Yeah, excellent.
I was saying before, last time we saw each other would have been your headline gig at the Grove.
Yes, my headline gig.
What's happened since then?
We've been busy. We've been on our summer tour. It's festival season, even though it hasn't really been feeling like summer because it's been disgusting outside, as we all know. But yeah, we've been running all over the UK, doing different festivals. Coming up next, we've got Novum Festival. We're playing a nice festival in Wales called Come By Festival. We've got some other shows down in London, but yeah, we've just kind of been running all over all summer, pretty much, yeah.
That's brilliant. How do you get into the festivals? Do you have a team that gets you booked in, or is it just you messaging them being like, get us on the stage, please?
So I'm fully independent, so it's normally months of me emailing people and doing applications. But I'd say about half of the festivals reach out to me, and then the other half I'm kind of getting in contact with, so it's kind of a bit of a give and take. But I feel like the more you do, the more you establish yourself and your name kind of gets out. It's a lot.
You get more people going.
Coming to you, which is always blows my mind.
Yeah. No, that's cool. And briefly, last time we had you on the pod, we weren't allowed to, well, we didn't know, you weren't allowed to say anything, but you'd just been informed about HMV.
I had.
But obviously that wasn't public knowledge at the time.
It was not.
What happened there? How did that happen?
Oh my goodness, it was really crazy. So basically, I was over in Cyprus visiting my family and things, and I got a phone call from Rich from HMV in Newcastle, and he was like, right, India, I'm sorry this is out of the blue, but I've got this amazing opportunity for you. And I was like, okay, cool, what is this? And he was like, yeah, basically you can get signed for HMV, but the only clause is that you have to make a whole album in about 8 days. It was like, what the hell? And I was out of the country for about another 4 of those days. So basically I have 4 days to complete an album. And I was just sitting there it's kind of an offer you can't say no to, but I was like, how the hell am I going to do that? So I was like, screw it, let me make some calls and see if I can make it work. And so I rang up my producer, Will Stevenson, who's down in London. I was like, look, this has been offered to me, can we do this? And he was like, yeah. And I also called up some of my bandmates, and I was like, look, this crazy thing's happened, but I'm not going to be able to do it if I don't have help. And everyone was just like, well, hell yeah, why the hell not? We'll do it. And so literally, it was mental, Will was literally working while on his holiday in France, and I came back and we got straight into the studio, and luckily I'd been recording a 4-track EP or something already, so I had some songs on the back burner. Otherwise, there's no way we could have made it work. And then we kind of did reimaginations of some of the songs, and yeah, it was crazy. It was nuts, and the whole experience, because to be honest, I was really relatively fresh to even the Newcastle music scene at that time, and I was still kind of settling in, and it completely changed the game. I remember the day it went live, and literally I was up at midnight, and they were like, oh, just keep an eye out, there might be some stuff that comes out, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Came out, I updated Google, and it was just hundreds of thousands of articles India Arkin inside HMV, India Arkin inside HMV, and I was like, what the hell? And then throughout the next day, it was just my friends being like, you're on Forbes, oh my god, you're in front of BBC, and I was at BBC News, and I was like, what the hell is going on? It was mental. I remember going into town, waking up super early, and going in to buy a Guardian magazine, because I've been given a text from David Athy, who was my main person I was coordinating with from HMV, and he was like, yeah, you're in the Guardian. I was like, what the hell? It was nuts. it was like unlike anything I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what was going through your head at the time when you were like saying like I'm on like the front page of like BBC? What?
I was just in shock. It sounds like a really weird, like, I guess boring answer, but like, I was just honestly glued to my phone all day, like in disbelief, like, what the hell? And I had people from like school who like never really batted an eyelid messaging me being like, by the way, you're on this thing, and like people reaching out who like, and I was like,
bestie,
whoa,
hey
yeah.
bestie, yeah. Like, can I get tickets to Glastonbury to play there next year? Like,
yeah, it was mental. It was really mental.
Yeah. That's good. Big shout out to HMV for doing that.
Legends.
I don't know. Do you any idea who the second signing was? Because they did it every year.
It was a band called Oh Mama My or something like that. Yeah.
Well, at least you got in there first because there was no headlines of them. I didn't see any headlines.
No,
I think it's because you were the first one. It was
I
like
think
the
it was
new
the big
kind of
push.
like cool thing. Like
I was very blessed to be picked for that. Yeah.
I know this is an obvious question, but I'm assuming that kind of propelled your career a bit better in the sense of, like you say, you get to know people. People know the name now.
100%.
A bit more so.
I think it put me on the page.
Yeah.
Is how I'd say. I like. Because I was just like, honestly, small and figuring it out, and like, even just in establishing my sound and things like that. And HMV was really like, this is Arkin, kind of introducing me, at least nationally. It definitely made a difference.
It's a tough spot to be in. I know everybody would love that kind of opportunity, but I imagine it is quite a tough spot. Like, kind of okay, you've got a bit of spotlight now. Kind of like you've got to work like twice as hard as what you usually have to kind of keep yourself. I imagine that's been quite like a daunting.
Yeah.
Thing,
I don't know. It really. I don't know if it was daunting so much as like. You learn a lot really quick.
Yeah.
And it was like, it really gave me a true taste of the industry and what to expect and what not to expect, and what that behind the scene looks like with a label. I've since had more conversations with other people in labels, and it's really interesting. Like, there'll be like a million things that like people are like, these are opportunities that could happen, but only like a small percentage do happen. And it's also, and I didn't know that going into it, and so it's really interesting. Like, I guess I have like, I understand expectations with labels and like the pros really, and again you meet people high up, and I don't know. It was just really
overall,
educational. Yeah,
good experience overall.
Yeah, 100%.
Because obviously there was some stories of the music industry, how they kind of like, you know, they get like the young uns in and then they just like cast them down. But it's good that you've had like a good background knowledge, so because you can use that now. You've got that
100%.
information. You kind of know how it works, and when you know that, it's like knowledge is power.
Yes, for sure. The one thing I really appreciated with HMV is that they were always like, because it was technically a distribution agreement, and so it was all about like, I had all of the rights to my songs, everything was mine. They would just like help push me, and I feel like that was something I really appreciated, because I still had full creative control. Like, they let me design the album cover, like, as well as the songs on it, and they were really happy and open with everything. Like, they were really supportive of like the whole journey, which is a big deal, I think. Yeah,
100%. And obviously going from that signing to shows, there was 2 shows I noticed of yours, whether it was last year or the year before. One of them was you playing the amphitheatre at South Shields.
Yes.
That looked fantastic.
It was mental, yeah.
How did that come about?
So Generator reached out to me, and they were like, do you want to, I think I headlined that. Yeah.
I think so.
They were like, do you want to headline this thing? And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, it's right by the beach. It was a sunny day, and we were like, of course we want to. And it just absolutely packed out. Like, the full... if you've never seen it, it's like this spherical, layered seating. It's mental, and you're kind of at the center point of it. And it was a lot of fun. And like, sun's out, guns out, great vibes, great music. We had Ross on sound, who was just fantastic as well. And like, it was awesome.
I don't know if you've seen any clips of that.
I've seen I've seen a few bands play the amphitheatre. Like it's one place that it's one of those kind of like, yeah, that's a cool little.
Shot my music video
Yeah.
there, Dance in the Rain.
Or is that
It's
where
just
that
lashing
was?
down with rain. It's perfect
Well,
timing.
you're gonna sing a song about dancing in the rain.
Yeah.
You gotta make sure it rains.
Yeah, but it was when I saw your clips of them as well. Like you look like, because of it being circular stage rather than just the regular one, it looked so much fun. You're spinning
it
around,
was.
dancing.
Yeah,
through.
I was running
It was
in the
like
middle.
proper energy in it, and it was great.
Thanks.
And then the other one, you were supporting Tom Grennan.
I was.
How was that?
That was insane.
Yeah.
That was really insane. That was like my first ever major show, I'd
Yeah.
say. We were playing to like, it was sold out. It was like 1,000 people. It was the biggest show I'd ever played at that time. It was nuts. We were told we could only do acoustic, like stripped. So we did a duo. It was me and my guitarist Adam Sams, and yeah, it was so much fun. And the crowd, like his fans were so nice. Like beforehand, they were all reaching out and being really supportive, and like even during the show, like everybody was really engaged. But it was definitely like, to be playing as a two-piece to like the biggest crowd you ever played, you feel quite small, whereas I feel like sonically you take up more space obviously with a band, and I normally play with a full band where I can, and so it was really interesting. But yeah, it was it kind of helped me to be like, you got to get out of your head, because I think when there's that many people, you're way more conscious of like everything about you. But it's like, it's just another show, like everybody's just here to have a good time. And it really helped us, because this year we ended up having the opportunity to tour with The Feeling, and we were playing like 3,000 cap venues. Like we played the O2 in Birmingham, we played this venue in Glasgow, and like some other ones, and definitely it was also stripped, and I felt like, because I'd had that experience with the Tom Grennan gig, I kind of tested the
You're
waters
ready
a
for
bit.
it.
I was ready for it, yeah. So, no, it's really fun.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's cool that you're getting the experience of them shows as well.
Yeah, totally.
So I said about this year is like, I know it's not as big as Tom Grennan, but my plan is to just do more open slots, because you want to kind of
Totally.
get used to the crowd not coming for you, but you getting them on side.
Yeah, you want
That
to win
makes
them
sense.
over.
Yeah.
Friends.
And it's always a good
It's
target.
literally how you get more fans, isn't it? It's just like, because a lot of times people like they're not gonna see a name that they've never heard of before and go, oh, I'm gonna buy tickets to that. You've got to go to the people, and then they'll see you and go, oh, I quite like that. So the next time they'll see your name, they'll go, hey, I quite fancy that. I don't know why they've got that kind of accent, but
But
you
they
know,
all
some
do.
people don't do, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
for sure. I feel like as long as you sound good and you're nice, you're kind of sorted. Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
that's it. It's just being consistently nice and consistently sounding good, and you're pretty laughing.
Sorted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Look
absolutely.
forward.
Damn right.
Mint, we'll take a short break.
Yep.
We'll come back with part 2, a few Instagram questions, and we'll see you there.
Yeah. I think
Oh, James.
And welcome back to part 2, where we have Instagram questions. Instagram questions.
Is that the new
That's
cutaway,
like
is
the-
it?
yeah, I'm gonna
Okay,
give it a go,
cool.
yeah.
If you don't know, you can follow us at Off the Stage UK, and the day before we bring the artists into chat, we give you the chance to ask your questions. At Mrs. Berry Insta said, how was your experience going on tour?
My experience on tour was epic. Like, I think tour is peak being a musician.
The dream, and
thing.
that's
Yeah,
one
I
thing
love it.
everybody wants to do is go on tour as a musician.
100%. Like, the energy is great, especially if you've got, like, I go with my band, and it's just like you and your team, really. Yeah, I've been on 2 tours. I went on a tour with HMV, obviously, after I released my debut album with them. And then at the beginning of this year, I did my first ever headline national tour, which was crazy. It was just so much fun. It's like, the best thing is, well, we had like nearly full sellout tour, which was amazing. And obviously that means fun every night. But then even if you like, you know, like every now and again you get in head in a gig and you're like, oh, I didn't enjoy that maybe as much as I should have. Like, you wake up and the next day you're ready to go. And it's like, if one goes bad, then it's all right. Like, you don't have to wait a whole another week or 2 weeks until your next gig. Like, just on to the next one. And I'm a very, like, all or nothing person, and so it definitely fulfills my like too much gene of more. Yeah. Also, it was like we had this really crazy experience in our Leeds tour, Leeds slot in our national tour, where basically we somehow ended up like there was a massive confusion with the dates and the bookings, and in the end we ended up playing 2 gigs in the same night.
Yeah.
And we literally did like, we killed this set at I've forgotten the name of the venue, this like decent really nice venue in Leeds. It was like full crowd as well, smashed it. We were like coming off on a high, everyone was like, woo, oh my god, where are you going? And we were like, we got a run, we got another gig. And then we jumped literally straight in like 45 minutes later into this like double 45 set somewhere else, and it was like jumping from buzz to buzz, and like I love that adrenaline pumping like hype from it. Yeah.
Did you find like towards, because I always find like the more if I play like lots of gigs in small successions, by the end we're just like with like the tightest band you'll ever know. Did you feel that like you were just like by like you almost like autopilot, like I've got this, like by the like the 10th gig or something, like
next level. 100%. You just sync up. I do think when you play with certain people for so long, you do have that to a certain level anyway, but when you're like every single day, you're just locked. Like especially with my band, as previously we had a long-term drummer who was based in London, so we weren't, he was amazing, like very, very committed, but he was like, he couldn't just rehearse every week because obviously he was down south, and so when we were on tour, it like gave us the opportunity to be like that next level. Like he was always good, but it like raised
it's like it's a practice as well as a, I mean, I know you should practice before, but you still, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is like.
No, for sure. No.
The more you play, because the first, imagine the first ever day, you're all nervous, you just want to get it right, but then by the end of it, you're just like, it's blindfolded.
Yeah. Normally we'll do a few days before of like he would come up and then we'd rehearse and like prep, and then we go. But yeah, no, it's great.
Awesome.
Yeah. The final question we got from @StitchRedman, which, if you don't know, obviously is HMV Rich. What's been your biggest waste of money as a musician?
That's a really hard question. We were talking about it before, and I would genuinely agree that like parking tickets on occasion, that happens when you're like loading into a venue and then you get one, you're like, where the hell am I going to go? Like, what am I going to do with this? And you're just like, god damn it. That's so frustrating. Yeah, other than that, occasionally you'll buy like a shit, oh, am I allowed to swear? A shit bit of gear, and it breaks really quick, but then it's annoying because you have to replace it, but
I bought a haze machine because I was trying to use a light effect at a specific gig, I won't name venues, and I messaged them to be like, I want to kind of make this event look good, can I get a smoke machine? And they went, we can't do smoke machines, but haze or mist machines would be fine. So I was like, right, cool, got a mist machine, can I take this? We'll sound check it and see how it works. Like, cool. Brought it to the sound check. They're like, we can't do it in case the fire alarm goes off. I'm like, I've had about 4 months of correspondence here. So,
to be fair, you could still rent that out.
I've got a haze machine with the fluids just sitting there.
To be honest,
in storage.
there'd be other venues who would take the haze machine. So, you might still use that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll tell you the worst waste of money I've done. So, I got I bought £250 worth of merch for a band that a month later I changed the name of.
Oh my god.
I mean, it's good for tax rebate and stuff like that, but it's just t-shirts are just kind of like with the band on and my stupid face just doesn't make any sense anymore. So I'm like, but it was my own fault because I changed my mind. I change my mind all the time. I'm so bad with it. But yeah, I was like, I'm gonna really invest in this band. I'm gonna really kind of like go for it. And then a month later, I'm like, actually, I'm going to change the name. Kat was so annoyed as, She was like, why have you spent all this bloody money? It's like, well,
Yeah.
I find that merch can be a tough one to invest in because you never know how much to get. And then you're like, I've sold out, or I should not have thought I had fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm quite a methodical person, so most of the time I've researched quite a lot before I buy something. Or like, same with merch, it was something I was thinking about for quite a while, and then you find somewhere that's reasonable but does a good quality, and you're like, okay, I'm going to commit.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important to invest in yourself if you want to get something back from your art, your project, whatever. Yeah.
100%.
Because if you're not willing to invest, like, who is, you know?
Well, I think all investments aren't a bad say. Like you said before, it's about like investing in the right promo campaign.
Yeah.
Rather than just investing in the production of a song.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some impulse buys. I bought a guitar purely because it's paper mache Batman comics on it. I've used it
Amazing.
once.
Oh.
Call it my Batacaster.
Well, you know, it's still cool, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty epic.
Yeah. But you tend to be like your impulse buys that are like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have got that.
Well, sometimes you have, like, well, I don't know about you, but I have in my head, like, I'll see something, because I'm a sucker for advertisements. I see, like, the cookies and, you know, you see, like, the face, I'm such a sucker for them. I go, ooh, I could use one of them. I'll use that. And then you, because you have it in your head kind of, okay, I'll use it for this purpose here. And then you never do. It's like, it's there's a reason, it's like a gimmicky thing. It's like, look at what I've got, and then, yeah, it doesn't work. But yeah, those T-shirts, they're still in a box somewhere in the house. I'm tempted to just, I don't know if I could do something with them though. Like, I'm keeping them just in case I've got like a
second project.
Yeah, that I can call, like, rename the band. If I change the name again, I'll change it back. Yeah.
Yeah, just prepped.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice damp T-shirts that have been stored away for years.
Yeah, it's not stored in a damp place, I'll give you that.
Okay.
It's my music little drawer thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Christmas is sorted for years.
yeah.
Every pound of it.
Yeah, that's true. Right?
It's done.
Just another T-shirt of an imaginary band. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, funny. So in terms of things coming out this year, because we chatted about what you've done, what's on the horizon?
So, I've got my new single coming out on the 9th of August. It's called Senseless. I'm really excited about it. It's going to be my biggest single release to date. It is this kind of alt-rock ballad, but it's got these kind of ethereal moments, but then there's this huge, like, thunderous, shreddy bits, and it's, yeah. I'm so excited about it. I think it's the most, like, I think it's one of the best pieces of songwriting I've put out today.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And do you have a title for this one?
A title?
Yeah, what was it called, sorry?
Senseless.
Senseless.
Yes.
When this episode comes out, we don't know which date it'll be. So it's either out now or it's coming out. But we've started doing this thing called the release roundup every Friday.
Okay.
So if you drop us the artwork as well, I'll make sure it's posted for next week and get that pre-pushed. How have you gone about recording Senseless?
So it was the last track that we recorded with our producer, Will, at Log Audio, who I've released literally everything up to date with. And so, we went down south, we recorded that and my last single, 143, with him. And it was crazy. Like, we've had Senseless in the work. I wrote this song about 3 years ago, so it's an old song for me. This is probably the longest it's taken for it to, like, come to fruition. But yeah, then we went down, Adam sat with me for a bit and we kind of figured out how to translate the song from, like, it as like a stripped, intimate thing with just me and my acoustic guitar to, like, live band version. And then we took it down south and recorded it with Will, and it was amazing and really exciting. Put all these crazy synths on it, got Neil on it, our old drummer. And then, had the mix come through. And then we've just been sitting, there was all of these complications that ended up happening at the end of last year when it was meant to come out. But finally, they are finished. And now it can kind of come to light. And I've been working with the really, really lovely Rob Irish. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a really amazing photographer and videographer in Newcastle. I would highly recommend him. And we've been creating some, like, really cool visual work for it as well, which is the first time I've ever recorded a music video, which is really exciting. And we got some great press shots, and it's really, it's probably, like, definitely my biggest independent release yet. Like, I'm putting a lot in. There's, like, I really believe in this track, and I'm so certain that, like, once it's out, like, the love will be overpouring for the song. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And obviously you had an album beforehand, which is obviously still out. How do you transition from going to this song? Is there similarities in it, or is it a complete different rebrand?
we released stuff since the album. So we released an acoustic EP first, like of some of the tracks in the album, and then a bonus track which was called Rainy Day, and then following that we released a track called 143, as I mentioned. I feel like it's been a slow transition from the album. I feel like when I released the album, like I was saying, I was still really new to music, realistically. Like I was very, very new. And I think, even though like, I think fundamentally I'm a really creative person, I hadn't really truly honed like how to like compositionally really consider songs and like, I think like the seeds of like, it's not that I'm not really proud of the songs that I've already got out, because I definitely am. There are some certain ones I'm like, whoa, that really had something about it. But I just feel like it's an evolution of kind of where I already was with my songwriting. I've kind of, in that 3 years or whatever, like I guess it hasn't been 3 years since HMV, but in the year and a bit since HMV, since I released that, like, I don't know, just I've been around more mature musicians as well. Like all of my musicians who I work with now have been like full-time musicians for over 10 years. And they're really established in their own writing, and I find it really helpful to be informed in my own creative practice by them, because like I was never really given much technical training, and I feel like I learn best by doing and seeing, and having their advice and input really helped form these tracks to like the next level. And I think the thing with Census is it's like there's energy in every single part of the song, and it's just like continuously evolving thing. And if I were to like to describe it to someone, I think it's almost like the most me track, like it's the most indie Arkin thing I would have like put out. That's cool. Which is kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, because obviously you've came a long way since your first kind of tracks.
Yeah.
Would you say you kind of like, because I mean I do this as well all the time, I'm terrible for it, would you like look back at your old tracks, even though you like them, you think like you listen to them and you go, actually that could have done with like one of those, or that could have, do you know what I mean? Like do you do that kind of like where it's
100%. Like I do have a bit of a soft spot for Dashboard Dancing, which was my first ever single, but I think even in that and other ones, there's like a lot of space in between like verses and things where I'm like, is this intentional space, or is this space where I feel like space was meant to exist because that's what I've seen exist in other songs, and I feel like it lent more that way. And that was just like because I hadn't really figured that out yet. And I think everything now, like all the pauses and all of the like, I guess when my vocals come back in and the energy comes back in, like everything is so much more intentional, whereas I feel like I could say like maybe 90% of my song would be completely intentional, and then there would be these like bits of space where it's like I'm doing what I feel like songs are meant to do, rather than writing to like further aid the song. Like the pause wasn't contributing anything more. And I think it's just also the more you play, the more you listen, the more you see bands, like
the more you want to add to your songs, which you could add to the old song. That would be mint if Spotify had like an edit button where like you think, oh, actually I could have added that, and then you just it's the song's still the same, but you just change little bits here and there. I'd love that.
Yeah. They've just added like a campaign thing, haven't they?
Oh, what's that?
I'm sure I got a thing of it. I'll check it later, but I got something on my emails, and they've added on the Spotify for Artists. It's like an additional campaign option where you can put like clips and stuff up and like the extra promo content.
Oh yeah,
I think this is them starting to turn it into social media.
They're trying to be, because TikTok is gonna take over the world in terms of, here's an interesting thing about Spotify. I think it was Daniel Ek, is that the guy that hit Spotify? I think he sold like only a few months ago or whatnot. He sold like $100 million of his shares. So he knows, because Spotify, it's going down in terms of, because only us older millennials now really kind of like properly invest in that. Everyone's going to TikTok music. Yeah. So that's them panicking, going, oh, now we're wanting to do like reels kind of that's how TikTok. Honestly, it's like TikTok music. It hasn't came about yet in the UK, but once it does, it's going to be just like Spotify, but it's going to be linked to the TikTok. So the minute you see someone like a 30-second reel or something of someone you like, you can straight away there'll be a button where you can click add to your TikTok music. That's game changer. It's like game over, isn't it? Yeah. So if you're ever thinking about what social media platform should I be like promoting myself on, that's the one. It's the only one in it. Yeah.
We might all get one of these plaques one day.
Yeah. World's most followed musician. You'll never get that unless you like.
It's got to be Taylor Swift.
Yeah, Tay is definitely the.
Maybe, might be wrong. But so with your song sense list, is that part of an EP or is it something furthermore? Or is it just a bunch of singles?
It's part of a series of singles that I'm going to release currently. Yeah. But then there is a bigger project coming, but can't say much on it yet.
That's fine with us. And just before we call this an end on the pod, is there any gigs, anything upcoming that you want to alert people to? Or?
Yes. When is it coming out?
Be not next week, but the week after, which first is today. So it'll be like the 13th.
Then I would say, I was going to say otherwise, come to Novum Festival on the 8th. But bar that, playing Come By Festival on the 5th of September. Also on the 26th, we are playing Dublin Castle in London. And Stage Door on Sunday the 6th. Yeah.
Very
Brilliant.
good.
Keep your eyes out.
Thank you very much for coming back.
Thanks for having me.
And in case we've got any new viewers since then, what are your socials for people to drop you a follow?
It's variations of Indie Arkin and Indie Arkin music pretty much everywhere.
Fantastic.
Just Google Indie Arkin, and I'm sure your name will
You'll
come up.
find it,
Sure,
yeah.
it's Googleable.
Yeah. It's one of the few artists we get that you can just type in I, and Google will send you straight there. Thank you very much for coming down.
Thanks.
Before we go, we're going to do some selfless plugging. My new single, Dance in the Rain, is out now, and I'm headlining Head of Steam at 23rd of November, supported by Georgina Gale. Jump to my socials for any ticket details at Conor Michael UK.
My new song, Heathen Pride, is out now. I'm also playing 12 o'clock at Music by the Marina this Saturday. It'll be this Saturday. What's this Saturday? Yeah, I'm terrible at this. The 17th. The 17th of August, I'm playing Music by the Marina on the quayside, about 12 o'clock. So if you've got nothing else to do, get yourself down to that.
Mid, thank you for coming down,
Thanks for having me.
and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, cool.
Just in time for this.